A century of strife, the Hundred Years' War, a conflict that would shape the course of European history. Welcome to Cryptic Mystic Vault, where we dive deep into the hidden history of human civilization, the Hundred Years' War. A misleading name, perhaps, for a conflict that raged for generations, staining the battlefields of France with blood. It was a war that saw the rise and fall of kings, the devastation of lands, and the suffering of countless people. From 1337 to 1453, the kingdoms of England and France grappled for supremacy. This prolonged struggle was marked by intermittent periods of peace and intense warfare. At stake was more than land. It was a struggle for power, heritage, and the very soul of two nations. The war was fueled by deep-seated rivalries and claims to the throne that neither side was willing to relinquish. The roots of the conflict ran deep, tracing back to the complex feudal ties and territorial disputes that had long existed between the two realms. English monarchs, descended from the Norman conquerors, held vast territories in France. These lands were a source of wealth and power, and losing them would mean a significant blow to English prestige. The French crown, eager to consolidate its power, saw these holdings as an affront. They were determined to reclaim these territories and assert their dominance over the region. When the English king, Edward III, pressed his claim to the French throne, the die was cast. War was inevitable. Edward's claim was based on his lineage through his mother, Isabella of France, which he believed gave him a legitimate right to the French crown. The Hundred Years' War was a brutal affair. It saw the introduction of new military tactics and technologies, including the longbow, which gave the English a significant advantage in many battles. Armies clashed in pitched battles, leaving fields littered with the dead. The war brought immense suffering to the common people, who bore the brunt of the violence and destruction. Castles were besieged, towns sacked, and the civilian population suffered terribly. The war disrupted daily life, leading to famine, disease, and economic hardship. Amidst the chaos and carnage, a new power emerged, one that would play a pivotal role in shaping the destiny of both England and France. The Duchy of Burgundy. This duchy became a significant player, often shifting alliances and influencing the course of the war. Imagine a kingdom nestled between two warring giants, a land that held the balance of power in its hands. This was Burgundy, a land of rolling hills, fertile vineyards, and prosperous cities, strategically positioned at the crossroads of English and French ambitions. Its landscapes were not just beautiful, but also bountiful, providing the resources needed to sustain a powerful state. To the west lay France, a formidable kingdom with its own ambitions. To the north, England's wool trade routes, vital for its economy. Burgundy held the keys to both, acting as a crucial gateway and a buffer zone. The Dukes of Burgundy were not mere pawns in this Game of Thrones. They were influential figures, wielding power with a deft hand. They were shrewd and ambitious rulers, masters of diplomacy and intrigue. Their courts were centers of political maneuvering and strategic planning. They understood the power of their position and were determined to use it to their advantage. Every decision was calculated, every alliance carefully considered. Their loyalty was fluid, shifting like the tides as they sought to maximize their own power and wealth. They played both sides, aligning with whoever offered the greatest benefit at the time. Burgundy's wealth derived from its flourishing textile industry and its control of vital trade routes. The region was a hub of commerce, attracting merchants from across Europe. The dukes used this wealth to build a formidable military force, one that could rival even the armies of England and France. Their soldiers were well equipped and well trained, ready to defend their interests. This military might, coupled with their strategic cunning, made the Dukes of Burgundy kingmakers in the bloody game of the Hundred Years' War. They were not just participants, but pivotal players, shaping the course of history with their actions. The story of Burgundy's rise is inseparable from the men who ruled it. Philip the Bold, the founder of the Valois dynasty of Burgundy, was a master of courtly intrigue. He secured vast territories through marriage and shrewd alliances, laying the foundation for Burgundy's future power. His son John the Fearless was a bold and ruthless leader. He played a dangerous game, shifting allegiances between England and France, always seeking to tip the balance of power in his favor. His reign saw Burgundy reach the zenith of its influence. Then came Philip the Good, a cunning and ambitious ruler who dreamt of forging Burgundy into an independent kingdom. He was a patron of the arts and presided over a court renowned for its splendor. However, his ambition ultimately proved to be his undoing. His attempts to secure Burgundy's independence led to conflict with both England and France, setting the stage for the duchy's eventual decline. Burgundy's impact on the battlefield. The story of Burgundy's involvement in the Hundred Years' War is one of shifting allegiances and dramatic battles. The Hundred Years' War was a tapestry woven with threads of valor and treachery, and Burgundy's influence was evident throughout. This conflict, spanning over a century, saw Burgundy's role evolve from a loyal ally to a cunning power broker. At the Battle of Crécy in 1346, Philip VI of France called upon his Burgundian allies to help stem the English advance. The Burgundians, known for their fierce warriors, were expected to turn the tide. The result was a disaster for France. Despite their efforts, the French forces were overwhelmed. The English longbowmen, raining down a deadly hail of arrows, decimated the French ranks. The Burgundian knights, caught in the chaos, could do little to change the outcome. Years later, the Burgundians would play a pivotal role in another turning point in the war, the Treaty of Arras in 1435. This treaty was a masterstroke of diplomacy. This treaty, brokered by Philip the Good, saw Burgundy switch sides, abandoning its alliance with England in favor of France. The decision was not just political but also strategic, aiming to secure Burgundy's future. The treaty marked a significant shift in the balance of power, paving the way for the eventual French victory. Burgundy's change of heart was a turning point that altered the course of the war. However, Burgundy's loyalty remained a fickle thing. Their alliances were often dictated by immediate gains rather than long-term commitments. The assassination of John the Fearless in 1419, orchestrated by the French Dauphin, shattered the fragile peace. This act of treachery had far-reaching consequences. The Burgundians, outraged by the betrayal, allied themselves firmly with England, prolonging the bloody conflict for decades. Their shifting loyalties and strategic decisions left an indelible mark on the history of the Hundred Years' War. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more mind-blowing discoveries and thrilling adventures into the past.